One of the things that I've been asked about most often in recent months is Dragon Fear. So this is the most recently released Legion Dragon skill into the game, and if you've missed it, you can now buy Legion Dragon skills whenever you want through the Immortal Shop by clicking into the Dragon Merchant here, and you can buy all of these even when Kingdom Celebration isn't active. So Dragon Fear was released as the most expensive Legion Dragon skill we've ever seen, coming in at 500 fragments undiscounted. So obviously, given that price point, it has to be exceedingly good to be worth purchasing. And a lot of players have questions over it because of that. And it's also quite mysterious in its effect. And there are a lot of small interactions with it which people have questions about. So obviously the point of this video will be, is Dragonfear worth it? How good is it compared to all these other options? Whereabouts should you be prioritizing it in terms of spending your Ancient Army Skill Fragments? And obviously what exactly does it do? So I have everything listed out here in a Google Doc. I did look around for the full level progression of the skill. It starts at 5% and it scales up to 50% at level 9. From memory, level 8 was 37.5%. When you have the skill at level 9, though, you can't then go back and check its leveling progression. So I couldn't find the list of that in its entirety. But this third line here is what we're going to be primarily focusing on. Before battle, there is a 50% chance to disable 2 random skills of the enemy dragon. So starting off, there are 2 forms of luck involved with this skill, which, as the most expensive skill in the game, is not ideal. It has a 50% chance to even do anything, and then it can only hit enemy skills randomly, so there's no way for you to target specific skills, prioritize specific skills, or even specific dragons. And immediately, this is the main negative of the skill, which will hold it back and be the main question mark of you actually buying and using it. Both of these luck elements make Fear very boom or bust in terms of what you're actually going to get out of it, because you can hit, for example, the enemy's reinforcement and their reroute, or you can hit their gold gathering and their bowman defense. The range of what you can get from it is huge, but to put it bluntly, the maximum value of it is the best dragon skill in the game. If you hit someone else's reinforcement and their reroute, if you hit 2 reinforcements, nothing in the game can exceed that value. You just have to jump through so many hoops to even have a chance of doing that. So you've got to go through a 50% chance, first of all, and then if they have, say, 8 dragons, all with 6 skills, and only one of those dragons has reinforcement on it, it will then be a 1 in 48 chance to hit that reinforcement. So if anyone tries to tell you this skill is like the best in the game, you have to get it. I would not listen to that, to be honest, because it is very volatile in terms of what you can actually get out of it. Because of how effective it can be, though, there is definitely still a place for it on dragons. So in terms of how it works exactly in reports, I have 2 examples here. These are very specifically picked out to show that a single attack or defense, if you have multiple iterations of Fear, it can proc multiple times, and it can also hit the same dragon multiple times. It just obviously can't target the same skill once one has already been taken out of the fight. This is where its best value will come from, though. If you have, say, 8 dragons with Fear at level 9, that will be 8 50% chances, and you'll, on average, have 4 of them proccing, and therefore be disabling 8, on average, of your enemy's dragon skills, which is very good. I think this specifically is the thing I've been asked about most in terms of the mechanics of it, because that was very, very unclear to players on if it could proc multiple times in the same fight, and it can. This report on the right here is also from the most recent KVK, so this is up-to-date information as well. in a vacuum, it can be useless, it can be bad, it can be good, it can be great. There's a huge variation of what the skill can actually give you. When looking at it in terms of priorities, when I have mapped it out, I've quite consistently got it at the 6th or 7th slot in terms of what I would recommend players to get for their dragons. The reason for this being is the inconsistency of it. So if we look at the 50% chance, it will disable 2 random skills. In terms of averages, you can sort of look at this as 100% chance to disable 1 skill. And you can see in these reports, it's hitting spear attack, inf attack, spear attack, bow attack, dragon weakness, anti-counter. None of these are high value skills at all. So if it's on average disabling just 1 skill each fight, you are going to want to get the guaranteed value best skills before it, and I think that's even without considering the price, because your best case scenario here with fear would be hitting someone else's reinforcement, and considering all the ways it could go a lot worse than that, getting reinforcement yourself is a much higher priority, especially when considering the price. I think the same applies with Reroute and Enraged. That top 3 are just so much better than every other skill in the game. And then past that, I would say the synergy follow-up skills paired with assist to proc off them all also have enough guaranteed value tied to them to be prioritized above fear. Past that point, though, I do think that is where fear probably has a slot on every single min-maxed 7-slotted dragon, because the chance to hit reinforcements, reroutes, enraged is huge. If you're in Glorious Battle, for example, and there's just one dragon v one dragon, if your fear hits their reinforcement and their reroute, that swings the fight so hard, so much harder than any other skill in the game could. I do think it is worth running. You will have to make a sacrifice there, where if you're, say, using a 7-slotted dragon in AC and you're a rally lead, so you need your rally size on, you would have to forfeit the synergy damage skills, so strong assault, bleed, and weakness. Me, that is its breakpoint. About 6th or 7th, best skill for each synergy. And I would very much prioritize those listed above it before you buy into it, especially when you consider the cost. So all of these skills, barring reinforcement, 300 fragments, so you can almost buy 2 of these for the price of fear, and its skill just doesn't justify that price point realistically. If you have everything already, and fear is the only route into upgrading your dragon, then the price point sort of loses its importance. But if you only have 2 or 3, maybe none of these Legion skills, then the price point is very important, and you should definitely buy into the other stuff before you start thinking about fear.